There's a moment when the mask slips. You see them for who they really are. And they know you see them. This is where things get interesting. Now, before we go further, let me be clear. When I say evil, I don't mean the villains in capes twirling their mustaches. I'm talking about the people who move through the world with calculated harm. The ones who thrive in manipulation, deceit, and power. And when they realize they've been caught, they don't retreat. Oh no, they escalate. When someone who operates with deception realizes you've uncovered the truth, their immediate response is rarely an outright admission of guilt. Instead, they retreat into evasion and denial. Because for them, self-preservation isn't just a preference, it's a survival mechanism. They don't panic, at least not on the surface. Instead, they act as if nothing has changed. They carry on as though you never saw what you saw, never heard what you heard, and never pieced together the puzzle that exposes them. If you confront them, they respond with confusion, as if your words are foreign to them. Wait, what are you even talking about? That never happened. You must be misunderstanding the situation. The goal isn't just to deny, it's to make you second guess yourself. They want you to question your own reality, to wonder if maybe, just maybe, you got it all wrong. And here's where it gets tricky, because if they do it well enough, you might start to believe them. You might replay events in your mind, trying to pinpoint where you misinterpreted things. You might tell yourself, maybe I overreacted. Maybe I read too much into it. Maybe I'm being unfair. That's the power of denial. It plants doubt. And doubt is a slow poison, the art of gaslighting. At its core, evasion and denial are often laced with gaslighting, a tactic designed to make you feel unstable or irrational for even bringing up the truth. They don't just deny facts, they deny your ability to perceive reality correctly. You could show them proof, messages, recordings, eyewitness accounts, and they'll still look you in the eye and say, that's not what happened. They'll rewrite history in real time. They'll downplay, reframe, or flat out reject the evidence. And if you push back, they'll shake their head with a mix of pity and amusement, as if to say, wow, I can't believe you think that. And suddenly, instead of focusing on their actions, you find yourself defending your own perception. You're explaining, proving, justifying, while they sit back and watch you unravel. Feigning innocence and playing dumb when outright denial isn't enough, they shift tactics. They act confused. They claim they don't remember. They furrow their brows and say, I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. They pretend to be so far removed from the situation that it becomes exhausting for you to even continue the conversation. And that's intentional. They want you to give up. They want you to get tired of fighting, of pushing, of trying to make them see the truth, because they have no intention of seeing it. Their innocence is a performance. And like any good performance, it's convincing. Why do they do this? Because for them, truth is dangerous. If they admit what they did, they have to deal with the consequences, whether that's losing trust, facing accountability, or having to change their behavior. And most of the time, they aren't willing to do that. Denial is their shield, evasion is their escape route. If they can make you believe that there's no fire, then they don't have to worry about putting it out. What can you do? Hold your ground. Trust what you saw, trust what you know. Because if someone is working this hard to deny reality, it's not because you're wrong, it's because they're afraid of what happens if you stop believing their lies. Once an individual who thrives on deception realizes that you see through them, they don't back down, they double down. This is when the manipulation not only continues but intensifies. They know they're exposed, and instead of taking responsibility, they shift into overdrive, using every trick in the book to regain control. Because for them, it's never about the truth, it's about power. At this stage, They're no longer just covering their tracks. They're actively working to distort your perception, control your emotions, and force you into submission. Their goal? To make you question yourself, to silence you, and to ensure that their version of reality prevails. Turning up the gaslighting. If they were gaslighting you before, now they're turning up the heat. Instead of simply denying the truth, they make you feel like you're crazy for even considering it. They don't just say, that never happened. Now they say, I can't believe you would even think that of me. Wow, you must be really paranoid. This is why people don't trust you. You always assume the worst. Notice the shift. Instead of just refuting the facts, they attack your credibility. They make you feel like the problem isn't what they did, it's you for noticing it. If they can make you question your own judgment, they win. Because once doubt creeps in, you become easier to control. Emotional manipulation, playing the victim, one of their most powerful weapons is flipping the script. If you confront them, if you hold them accountable, they don't just defend themselves, they become the victim. I can't believe you'd accuse me of that. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? You're hurting me by even suggesting this? They turn the conversation away from their actions and onto their feelings. Suddenly, you're no longer talking about what they did. You're being forced to comfort them, to reassure them, to apologize. And if you refuse, they escalate. They might cry. They might rage. They might withdraw completely, giving you the silent treatment so that you feel guilty instead of them. It's all about making you feel responsible for their emotions, so you back off from holding them accountable, rewriting the narrative. They know that perception is everything. If they can't convince you that you're wrong, they'll start working on everyone around you. This is where they begin twisting the story. They plant seeds of doubt in others before you can even speak up. They'll say things like, I don't know what's going on with them lately. They've been acting really paranoid. They're just looking for something to be mad about. I think they're struggling emotionally. I'm worried about them. Now, instead of people believing you when you expose them, they've already been primed to think you're the unstable one. By the time you come forward, their web of deception is already in place. Triangulation. Pitting people against each other. If they really want to maintain control, they won't just manipulate you, they'll manipulate others to fight their battles for them. They'll go to mutual friends, family members, or colleagues and create division. They'll say, I don't want to cause drama, but they've really been acting strange. I just want to make sure you see both sides of the story. I hate being caught in the middle, but I think you should know what's really going on. Now, people you once trusted start distancing themselves from you. You feel isolated. You feel like the bad guy. And the manipulator, they sit back and watch as their work takes effect, all while pretending to be the innocent party caught in the crossfire. Testing your reactions, another tactic they use during this phase, is pushing boundaries. Small, calculated actions to see how much you'll tolerate. They might tell a tiny lie and see if you call them out. They might make a subtle insult disguised as a joke. They might take a small risk to see if you're still paying attention. Every time you let something slide, they learn that they still have power over you. Every time you hesitate, they know they can still manipulate you. Why do they do this? Because manipulation is their lifeline. Without it, they lose control. And losing control means facing the truth, something they will do anything to avoid. They manipulate because it's how they survive. Because deception is their armor, and if you break through it, they have nothing left. What can you do? Stay grounded. Stay firm. Trust your intuition. Recognize their tactics for what they are. Don't engage in their mind games. Seek support from people who truly know and believe you. Most importantly, don't let them rewrite reality, because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it, and no amount of manipulation can change what you know deep down. When people who operate through deceit, manipulation, and control realize they've been exposed, they don't take accountability. Instead, they reach for one of the most effective shields in their arsenal: the victim card. They don't just deny wrongdoing. They don't just evade responsibility. They go a step further and paint themselves as the one who has been wronged. This is not just a defense mechanism. It's a strategic move designed to shift attention away from their actions and place all the focus and guilt onto you. If they can make you feel bad for them, they can avoid consequences altogether. And make no mistake, this tactic is highly effective, especially if you're someone with empathy. Because when a person plays the victim, your natural instinct might be to comfort, protect, or even second guess yourself. And that's exactly what they want. How they play the victim, there are many ways they do this, but here are the most common. 1, emotional outbursts and feigned hurt when confronted with their actions. They don't apologize or admit fault. Instead, they overreact emotionally as if they are the ones suffering. They cry, they act shocked. They shake their head in disbelief as if your accusations are completely absurd. Instead of addressing the issue, they make the situation about their pain. Now you find yourself apologizing just for bringing it up. For example, imagine you confront someone about lying to you. Instead of acknowledging the lie, they respond with, "Wow, I can't believe you think so little of me. I have always had your back, and now you're accusing me of this? That really hurts." Suddenly, the conversation has shifted. Instead of holding them accountable, you now feel the need to reassure them that you do trust them, that you didn't mean to hurt them, and just like that, they've escaped responsibility. Tupac turning the focus to their own struggles. If emotional outbursts don't work, they'll remind you of all the hardships they've endured. "You know, I've been really stressed lately. Why would you add to that? I've had such a hard life and now you're attacking me too. I can't believe you're treating me like this after everything I've been through." By doing this, they position themselves as the real victim. If they can remind you of their struggles, they hope you'll feel guilty for making things worse. They make you feel like confronting them is unfair, as if you're being cruel for expecting accountability. They blame blaming you for their actions. This is one of the most dangerous and toxic ways they play the victim. Instead of acknowledging what they did, they turn it around on you. They justify their behavior by making it seem like your actions forced them to behave the way they did. For example, "I wouldn't have lied if you weren't always questioning me. If you were more supportive, I wouldn't have had to go behind your back. I only did that because you made me feel like I had no other choice." This is classic emotional manipulation. They shift the blame onto you so that they never have to take responsibility for their own behavior. And if you fall for it, you might even end up apologizing to them for something they did wrong. 4, recruiting sympathy from others, the smear campaign. If they sense that you're not buying into their victim narrative, they'll take it to the next level. They'll start telling other people that they are the victim. They'll go to mutual friends, family, or colleagues and say things like, "I don't know what's wrong with them lately. They've been treating me so badly. I tried so hard, but I guess nothing is ever good enough for them. I just wish they could see how much this is hurting me." By doing this, they make sure that when you finally speak up, people already see you as the aggressor. You're the unreasonable one, and they're just an innocent person caught in the crossfire. Now, instead of getting support, you're met with skepticism. Instead of people believing your side of the story, they're already primed to believe theirs. And what's worse, if you try to defend yourself, it only reinforces their victim narrative. "See, look at how they're treating me. I told you they were attacking me." This is called DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. It's a manipulative strategy where they deny wrongdoing, attack the person confronting them, and then reverse roles, making it seem like they're the victim and you're the aggressor. 5, the silent treatment and withholding affection. Sometimes, instead of a dramatic emotional outburst, they go silent. They withdraw. They make you feel guilty just by refusing to engage with you. They ignore your calls and messages. They act cold and distant. They behave as though you hurt them and they're punishing you for it. The goal here is to make you chase after them, to make you feel like you're the one who needs to make things right. And if you cave, if you go back and apologize just to restore peace, then they've won. They've successfully shifted the blame and made you the one begging for forgiveness. Why do they do this? Because playing the victim works. It shifts focus away from their actions. It makes you feel guilty for confronting them. It manipulates others into siding with them. It avoids accountability at all costs. For people who refuse to own up to their mistakes, the victim card is the perfect escape route. How to protect yourself, stay focused on the facts. To stay focused on the facts, to protect yourself, stay focused on the facts. Don't get distracted by their emotional theatrics. Stay clear on what they actually did. Refuse to accept blame for their actions. You are not responsible for their choices. No matter how much they try to twist it, they did what they did. Don't engage in their drama. They want a reaction. The less you give them, the less power they have over you. Set boundaries and hold them firm. If they keep playing the victim to avoid accountability, stop engaging with them. Seek support from people who see the truth. Surround yourself with those who know your character and won't fall for their manipulations. Final thoughts. When someone plays the victim as a manipulation tactic, it can be deeply frustrating. You want to scream, "That's not what happened." You want people to see through it. You want them to just own up to what they did. But the truth is, they never will. The appearance of innocence is more important than actually being innocent. So instead of trying to get them to admit the truth, focus on what you can control. Your own boundaries, your own reactions, and your own peace of mind. Because at the end of the day, the real victim isn't the person playing the role, it's the person being manipulated into believing the lie. When someone who thrives on deception realizes they've been exposed, they don't sit back and accept the consequences. No, they fight back, but not with the truth. They fight with lies, manipulation, and a carefully orchestrated smear campaign. Smearing your reputation is their way of regaining control. Because if they can't convince you that you're wrong, they'll work to convince everyone else. Their goal isn't just to protect themselves, it's to destroy your credibility. If they can make others doubt you, then it won't matter what the truth is. Because in their world, perception is more powerful than reality. Why do they do this? A reputation smear isn't just an act of revenge, it's a survival tactic. They know that the truth threatens their image, their control, and their ability to manipulate people. So instead of defending themselves against your accusations, they go on the offensive. This is classic DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim, and deny what they've done, attack you for daring to call them out, reverse the roles. Now they're the victim and you're the villain. And they don't just do this quietly. They make sure their version of the story is the first and loudest one that people hear. How they smear your reputation. Smearing your reputation isn't just about spreading lies. It's about planting seeds of doubt, isolating you, and making sure others question your character before you even get the chance to tell your side. Here's how they do it. 1, spreading lies and twisting the truth. They don't just make up outrageous stories about you. Instead, they take small grains of truth and twist them until they become weapons. If you got frustrated and raised your voice once, they tell people you're emotionally unstable. If you confronted them about their behavior, they say you're aggressive and controlling. If you confided in them about something personal, they distort your words to make you seem toxic or cruel. They don't need you to be the villain in reality. They just need to convince others that you are. 2, playing the victim to gain sympathy. They paint themselves as the helpless victim of your supposed cruelty. I don't know what happened to them. They just turned on me. I tried so hard, but I guess nothing was ever good enough. I just want peace, but they keep attacking me. Now, instead of people questioning them, they start pitying them. And once someone feels sorry for them, they become much more likely to believe whatever lies they're told. 3, isolating you from your support system. A smear campaign works best when you don't have anyone left to defend you. So they start turning people against you before you even realize it's happening. They reach out to your friends, coworkers, or family members before you do. They frame the situation in a way that makes it seem like they're concerned about you. They create tension between you and others so that when you finally tell your side, people are already skeptical. Now, instead of getting support, you get cold shoulders and judgmental looks. You feel alone, misunderstood, and exhausted. And that's exactly what they want. 4, passive, aggressive social media posts. They won't always smear you directly. Sometimes they do it indirectly using vague but pointed messages. Some people will do anything to hurt others. Just remember, karma is real. Nothing hurts more than betrayal from someone you trusted. I just wish people could see the truth. They don't say your name, but everyone knows who they're talking about. And if you respond, you look guilty. If you stay silent, people assume their story is true. It's a trap, and a dangerous one. 5, gaining support from flying monkeys. In every smear campaign, there are flying monkeys. People the manipulator recruits to do their dirty work for them. These could be friends or family members they've convinced to take their side. Mutual acquaintances who unknowingly spread their lies. Online followers who jump to their defense without knowing the full story. Flying monkeys don't always realize they're being used. They genuinely believe they're protecting someone who's been wronged, but in reality, they're just another tool in the manipulator's arsenal. The psychological impact of a smear campaign, being the target of a smear campaign, is devastating. You feel helpless as people you trusted turn against you. You second guess yourself. Did I do something wrong? You experience extreme stress, anxiety, and even paranoia. You lose relationships, opportunities, and sometimes even your reputation. And the worst part, there's no easy way to fight back, because the more you defend yourself, the more it looks like you're guilty. The more you try to explain, the more they twist your words. It's a psychological war of attrition designed to wear you down until you either give up or break down. How to protect yourself from a smear campaign. 1. Stay calm and don't react emotionally. They want you to explode. They want you to lash out. They want you to prove their lies right. The best thing you can do, stay calm, refuse to play their game, don't engage in social media battles, don't beg others to take your side, don't react with anger. Because every outburst is ammunition for their story. 2, document everything. Keep records of every interaction, every text message, every email. If they twist your words or spread lies, you need evidence to defend yourself, but only if necessary. Don't waste time trying to convince people who have already made up their minds. 3, strengthen your support system. Not everyone will believe the smear campaign. Find the people who do. Stick with friends and family who know your character. Surround yourself with people who don't fall for manipulation. If necessary, distance yourself from mutual connections who might be feeding into the drama. Focus on your integrity. At the end of the day, the truth always comes out. A manipulator can smear your reputation, but they can't change who you are. The best way to counteract a smear campaign is to stay true to your values, live with integrity, let your actions speak louder than their lies. The people who matter will see the truth in time. The people who believe the lies were never truly on your side to begin with. 5, know when to walk away. Some battles aren't worth fighting. If someone is determined to destroy your reputation, engaging with them only gives them more power. Sometimes the best thing you can do is block them, cut off toxic relationships, move forward without looking back. Because at the end of the day, they want to keep you trapped in their web. The moment you step out of it, the moment you stop feeding their need for drama, you take away their control. Final thoughts. A smear campaign is one of the most hurtful and infuriating things to experience. Watching someone twist the truth, lie about you, and turn others against you feels like betrayal at the deepest level. But here's the truth. Lies don't last forever. People eventually see through the deception. Character always reveals itself. And the best revenge? Living well, staying true to yourself, and refusing to let their lies define you. When an evil or manipulative person realizes you've caught on to them, they don't immediately back down, they don't apologize, they don't reflect on their actions. Instead, they test your boundaries. They want to see just how far they can still push you, how much they can get away with, how strong your resolve really is. Because to them, boundaries aren't walls, they're obstacles to overcome, limits to manipulate, and rules to bend in their favor. This isn't just about disrespect, it's about control. Why do they test your boundaries? There are 3 key reasons. To see if you really mean it. When you set a boundary, they assume you don't really mean it. They think that with enough persistence, guilt tripping, or manipulation, you'll cave. To regain control, boundaries take power away from them. They want to see if they can take it back by making you doubt yourself. To exhaust you, if they keep pushing and pushing, you might get so tired of enforcing your boundaries that you give up. And that's exactly what they want. They're gambling that you won't stay strong. How they test your boundaries. They won't always attack your boundaries head on. Instead, they will chip away at them little by little, hoping you won't notice. Until one day you look up and realize you're right back where you started. Here's how they do it. 1, ignoring your boundary completely. The simplest way they test your boundaries is to pretend they don't exist. You say, please don't call me late at night, but they keep calling at midnight anyway. You tell them, I don't want to talk about this anymore, but they keep bringing it up. You say, I need space, but they keep showing up, texting or guilting you for avoiding them. They're hoping you'll let it slide, even just once, because if you do, they've won. 2, pushing back with guilt and manipulation. If ignoring your boundary doesn't work, they'll try to make you feel bad for setting it in the first place. I just miss you so much. Why are you shutting me out? I guess I'm just not important to you anymore. Wow, I never thought you'd be so cold. They want to make you question yourself. They want you to feel like enforcing your boundaries makes you a bad person, selfish, cruel, or ungrateful. This is a manipulation tactic designed to make you lower your defenses so they can continue their behavior without consequences. 3, testing in small ways first instead of crossing the boundary outright. They start small. If you ask them not to text you after 10 p.m., they send a message at 10:05 p.m., then 10:15, then 10:30. If you tell them not to borrow your things without asking, they take something just this once. If you say you need time alone, they send a quick, just checking in message. They want to see if you notice, then if you'll actually enforce the boundary. If you don't, they push further. 4, apologizing, but then doing it again. If they get caught, they'll often say exactly what you want to hear. You're right, I should have respected that. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. I didn't mean to overstep. I'll be better next time. But their actions don't match their words. Days, weeks, or even months later, they do it again. Just to see if you still care. If you let them get away with it, they take that as permission to keep doing it. 5, blaming you for having boundaries. If all else fails, they flip the script. You're being unreasonable. Nobody else has a problem with this. Why are you making such a big deal about it? Instead of respecting your boundary, they try to make you feel like you're the problem for having it in the first place. This is gaslighting. They want you to second guess yourself so that you start thinking, maybe I am being too harsh. Maybe I should just let it go. And the moment you do, they've won. The psychological toll of boundary testing, when someone constantly tests your boundaries, it's exhausting. You feel drained from having to constantly defend yourself. You start doubting your own judgment. Are my boundaries really necessary? Am I overreacting? You experience guilt, stress, and anxiety about enforcing limits. You begin to feel like giving up is easier than fighting back. This is by design. They know that most people don't like confrontation. They know that if they push hard enough, eventually you might break down and let them